Hello and welcome back for your daily dose of LOL Esports content, where I'm going to cover the LPL games that took place earlier today and preview tomorrow's schedule. Predictions went 2-0 on the day, 101 and 46 on the year. First, we have EDG FPX. FPX would win 2-1. Duck Dom 9-5, 15, 27% of damage. Milky Way 8-5, 15 in the jungle. Fisher 7-8, 11, 25% of damage in the loss. Xiaolao, who is my MVP, specifically for the series deciding play in game 3. So game 1, we had a short laning phase actually in all 3 games. I mean, 2 of the 3 were some of the shortest ones we've seen all year. 12 minutes in game 1, 2k gold lead for FPX, 34 CS lead for the bot lane of FPX, and they were the dictators of what would occur in this game. So Duck Dom on the Virus, raining down Havoc, and then we have Life on Rumble. Both players ended up getting 2v2 kills in the early game, and that just sprung an advantage that would not cease throughout that one. FPX would go bot lane twice as well to kind of further the damage, and it led to the first Drake, and honestly, it was a one-sided affair. JJ, I thought, kept EDG in it. JJ may have been the best player between the two teams the entire series. He is in elo hell, to be frank. Game 2, 15-30, 14-30 it looks like actually. 1.3k gold lead for EDG, 35 CS lead for JJ on the brand. It led to 2 early Drakes. FPX would take 2 grub spawns in response, go topside a couple times. But EDG went bot and had a 27 CS lead for the Snake Varus, and that would pay dividends in the mid to late game. JJ's brand getting them ahead, Ale getting ahead as well because EDG took a trip topside. He'd solo kill Care at one point. Care on the Azir would later have relevance, bringing FPX back. The Snake getting EDG ahead once more, and EDG really controlling the game after that. Milky Way on the Lee Sin somehow, some way ended up like 6-2 and 3 in game 2. And when you actually look at his entire 3-game series is 8-5, 15, right? So what, we got 2-3 and 12 for the other 2 games, the 2 wins. It's kind of funny how in the loss he popped off. But JJ on the brand just was so far ahead, and a lot of teams have struggled into the brand so far this year. In some cases the brand is all that the team has that's working. It's hard to really get it to nullify it. It seems for these teams. Game 3, FPX had significant at the end of laning phase, 3k gold at 11 minutes. Caitlyn bot lane. We saw Caitlyn a bit today in both series. 13 CS lead for the bot lane of FPX. JJ on the Rel getting EDG in a good spot, bringing them back after FPX got that lead. And actually it would go back and forth for quite a while. Nobody really, to be honest, nobody's really outstanding in game 3. To be frank, it just felt like a staring contest where nobody was super strong. There were nice plays here or there, but the last team fight where Xiaolao got a triple kill on Fiora kind of gave FPX the advantage back, and they would not relinquish it. And in my opinion, that was the series deciding play, because otherwise I think game 3 could have went either way. Even though FPX had that lead, JJ was strong in bringing them back. You can only do so much, right, on a rel. You can't really carry. And when you actually look at the DPM, it was significant for a guy that played rel in 2 games. Understandably, a brand is in there, but still. Game 3, Series 2, LNG, BLG. BLG went 2-0. Knight played Karma both games, going 8-5, 16, 33% of damage. On 1-3, 25. On is my MVP for the entire series. Sean was super strong in game 1 on the Lee Sin, but game 2 on the Jax, I thought he was good, but I thought On was better. And then when I look at game 1, I think, On had 100% KP on the Nami for maybe even the entire game. So with that in mind, the Lee Sin's doing well, but it's being empowered by the Nami. Gala 5-4-6, 40% of damage in the loss. You can only do so much. So game one, 2.2K gold lead for BLG at 1530. Weiwei's tried to go bot side twice, and both times Shun beat him to it, and outplayed those dives, getting multiple kills. I think he had 6 of the first 8 kills for BLG on the Lee Sin. Scout on the Corki was able to respond at one point, and kind of give LNG a breath of hope. And Elk on the Lucian would just kind of put that hope to the side when the late game team fights occurred around Drake and things of that nature. I think they had like an 8K gold lead or some shit around one of the fights. And I do enjoy when the damage chart comes up where we can see the damage in real time. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen in the spots where it's like, oh, this fight is actually like pretty even in gold, right? We're watching it when it's an 8K difference. It's like, okay, well, I don't even think we need this. We know what the result will be. Game two, pretty much same result. I mean, 15-20 for the laning phase, but BLG only up 600 gold. 27 CS lead for Scout in mid lane on the Orianna. He was strong in game two. Trying very hard to bring them back. Actually, you know what? More I think about it, looking back, Ale might have solo killed Jalahu in game two, because Zika on the Kesante had a solo kill in game two for this series, and if I recall, it was on Knight. So we'll just kind of retroactively go back for a second and say that. Now, back to this game. So 27 CS lead for Scout. Bot lane, 15 CS lead for LNG. Gala on the Caitlyn. But it really doesn't matter because BLG have went bot lane 3 times. Got Elk and on in a good position on the Zaya Rakan. And Elk was looking very good on the champion. Now Zika on the Kesante gets that solo kill. Scout on the Orianna gets LNG back to even footing. It goes back and forth as BLG are trying to choke out LNG, even in game one, to be honest. It was a situation where LNG kind of lost the game when all of them were alive around their nexus. They were just slowly and methodically being chipped away at. And in game two, that was happening. Now, there was a response by LNG in this one where Gala was able to push them back and actually give LNG another breath and another opportunity. And, it didn't make a difference. Like, LNG just, slowly lost both games once the mid to late game transpired. And I mean, I even think in game two, was it in game two? It might have been game one. One of the games in this series, they lost Elder with all 5 of them alive. Like, they got pushed off. And I think it was game one. They got pushed off, and that also gave away Baron. And it's like, wow, so you gave away both objectives without dying. Like, Elder is supposed to be go in because you're probably going to lose so much in terms of control of the rift, your own base. Hell, you could very well lose the game. Like, you want to get that objective, and instead they just kind of gave it away. And in game two, it seemed very similar, that it was like they didn't know what to do in the very late game. And people are obviously overreacting about LNG in general because now they've lost 3 and, they're 2-3 and oh God, they have a losing record. And it's like the last 2 losses have been against JDG and BLG, and LNG beat BLG last summer in playoffs, and I think BLG might have beaten LNG in that year, and LNG beat JDG and all sorts of weird stuff. Like, it's before New Year's. Like, people need to calm down. Understandably, I mean, the bot lane could be a question mark with Mark still playing and hung on the sidelines. I think that's a valid criticism. I think it's valid to say, hey, was Weiwei actually an upgrade over Tarzan? But at the same time, it's only been a handful of series. And it's before Chinese New Year. And there are, 10 months before Worlds still. Or not 10 months, but 8 months. So, people just need to find things to talk about, and they are like Chicken Little. The sky is falling for these teams. Sneak peek: RNG, IG. RNG are 2-2, coming off of a loss to Weibo. IG 3-1, coming off of a win against Thunder Talk. Last time they played, RNG won 2-0. 7 of the 10 starters are the same. Wei and Tangwan, 13-7, 25, 36% of damage in the loss. Tianzhen, Cryin, 5-18, 14, 42% of damage in the loss. Weibo Top Esports, Weibo 3-1, coming off of the win against RNG. Top Esports 2-1, coming off of a win against Rare Atom. Last time they played, Weibo won 3-2 in LPL playoffs. Half the starters are the same. Light went 22-7 and 28, 30% of damage in the win. Jacula 14, 15, 19, 33% of damage in the loss. So, also, should have said this in the beginning, as is the case for Wednesdays, tomorrow's video will be a pre-recorded video to fill the day. These recaps for tomorrow's games will be on Thursday, as well as a sneak peek for Saturday, because I plan on doing the power rankings for Friday. So that'll be by itself that day. And yeah, so that's the plan for the next few days. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.